Hey everybody, my name is Sharon Quinn. I'm also known as the original Runway Diva, and you are watching Model Behavior. Class is officially in session. Today my guest lecturer is American film, television, and theater actor Karen Eilbacher. Her roots are from the seeds of theater, and she is in her joy discovering the discipline and expansiveness of film. Welcome to Model Behavior, Karen Eilbacher.
Thank you.
Hi honey, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to take it from the top, and I just want you to tell me how you even got into this thing called acting that you love so much.
Okay, so basically started in the 4th grade, and I was creating with my schoolmates, and I was having a very heightened interest in Santa Claus and Christmas. So at the time I wrote this play that I shopped around, and well, before all of that, I did the costuming, I did the casting, I did every part of the business in 4th grade.
Okay, so what age are you in 4th grade? About like 9 years old?
Yeah.
And so when you say you did the costume, you made the costume?
Yeah, definitely. So also, my siblings and I, we all come from an athletic background, so primarily for me, it was basketball growing up and traveling around doing that, but I also played soccer and softball. And so when we would be home together, and our parents, especially when they weren't home, I had this very awesome idea at the time to stuff and put a belt around my belly where I put a stuffing of pillows and whatnot into a shirt that's maybe a larger than my fitting. And we would be in the stairwell, the staircase, and play inside the house and kick the ball, and I'd be the goalie. So it's extra padding. So I played Santa Claus in this Christmas production, and it was fantastic. And I had my reindeer, and I really liked to gather materials at the time, and I loved to play in the dirt and the grass and in nature. I grew up in Westchester, New York, White Plains, Greenburgh, and yeah, we had a backyard, and we were really adventurous. My sister especially and I, we like got our hands dirty. So all of this was very much up my alley at the same time of being athletic. And I found that acting and performing was such an exercise because, I mean, we were just talking about energies, and energies are so strong, and I guess I didn't have a label at the time for that, an understanding, but it was a feeling of understanding that to interact, and fortunately, I had accessibility to a lot of friends. Right, so different energies to pick from and be like, oh yeah, you can play this, and like to delineate that for people, to direct that for people, and to encourage them that like we can all play together. And so we did this performance for my 4th grade, and then we took it around to say the 1st grade, the 2nd grade, and it just started to build because I went to a Catholic school. And so it was like K through 8th grade. And before I knew it, I was in kindergarten performing this, and I was like, oh, we could have just performed it in the auditorium. Like, we could have just done it for everyone and just had everyone sit down and be with one another and watch this. And so from there, my school principal, she kind of caught word, and she asked me to do the end of the year school play where everyone from the congregation is invited. And that kind of really just jumped me into really having way more feelers for my creativity and what it produced on the other side of being athletic on the field and the court. Because there are many similarities. Having come from an athletic background has really supported my journey to then find art and acting again when that was in high school. And then I prepared for NYU Tisch, and I got in, and that really was the point of no return.
But what was the thing that made you, was there one thing in particular that made you say, okay, I think I'm going to stop playing basketball and just launch full force into the acting? What was that thing that decided it for you?
Nicole Kidman in Moulin Rouge, Elephant Love Melody, when you look into her eyes as Satine before they start singing Elephant Love Melody. I saw this woman who was saying everything about her character, everything about her life, and it became so alive for me through the screen. And I was like, whatever she's doing, I have to learn how to do that. I have to go on that journey. And from there, I was like, it all culminated into being so attracted to the drama geeks in my school and me being like a female jock, like really wanting to visit that part of myself again. It was just in here. It was really just, okay, I feel it, I'm doing it. And that's really the human being that I am. And thankfully I have a very supportive family and nucleus to support with love and everything that comes with that, just everything really, not being dramatic about the word too, to say, yeah, okay, go in that direction.
So now, what is the thing, because the life of an actor is hard.
Yeah.
With or without friends. It can be hard, and
yeah.
it can be kind of, it can break your self-esteem if you know, if you're not accustomed to saying no. I'm asking you this because I just worked recently a week during a medical convention. I had a young lady who's an aspiring actress.
Yeah.
She had her headshot and she had her resume on the back. So I was looking at it and she was just saying the craziest stuff to me while I was looking at it. It was all self-deprecating stuff.
Yeah.
She had gone to an audition. Clearly she didn't get the audition because when she came back, her whole demeanor was different.
Yeah.
So, and I said, well, you know, what are you upset about? She said, well, I didn't, you know, I went to this audition and I feel like because I have to wait tables for a living and I have to work these long hours, I didn't really get to prepare the way I needed to prepare. So I think that that's the reason why I didn't get the audition.
Yeah.
So and I told her, I said, well, you didn't get the audition because it wasn't for you. And if you don't think about that for each, think it like that for each audition that you do, you're really going to mess yourself up. She took this completely the wrong way that I meant it. So what is the thing that keeps you doing it, even though you're getting no, thank you, but no.
Yeah.
What do you do in that instance?
You know, there's many things actually. Well, consistency is something, and persistence is something I really learned having been an athlete. Now, not everyone experiences that in their life, you know, being on a team from a young age and chasing after a basketball because the objective, the goal is to put it through that hoop. And then not even for me growing up was it like the camaraderie of like, well, the camaraderie, yes, of a team was very, it was so motivating. But not even just like all the trophies and everything and all the accolades that I received that encouraged me. So from having that mentality, because I can only speak for myself, and what I can say, though, to anyone, as I've done traveling with Fun Home across the United States, for instance, as Joan, right? And young people coming up to me, persistence. Everyone experiences persistence, their experience of persistence and consistency and that perseverance to just continue with something, whether it be a bad mood. I'm going to stay in this bad mood. I'm going to feel like this. I'm going to like convince myself until I've accomplished maybe not feeling this way, but we're always going toward something, you know, so long as we're living and breathing. And when I wake up, you know, it's just, I don't focus on the past, and if I am, that's something that I'm working on.
Okay.
And if I'm focusing on the future, that's something that I'm really working on, because the present is really all that matters. And in my present waking moment, like as I sit here right now, I am happiest to get to know people and get to know myself. And that to me are very, very boiling ingredients for being an actor and to keep on this road. My curiosity to live in this world through all the people I've met, all of the experiences I've had, it's like, I don't have an expectation about what experiences or people I'm gonna come into meeting. I can have like dreams. I dream very big, because why not?
Right.
Especially when you're getting no's. So I bring perspective into things too, but my consistency and my persistence is, am I on the train to champion myself, to wake up, because I know I wanna do this. There's not a doubt in my mind, because when I tap into, again, being completely present, not in the past, I don't need that, not in the future, it's not here, only the present, my answer is yes, I want to be happy, I'm happy. There's no question about it, because no one can take that away from me. And the thing that I absorb in feeling my joy, because my joy is If I want to drink a glass of water, I'm going to do it. If there's an obstacle, I'm going to work my way around that obstacle. And that's acting. That's waking up and working for myself every day. No matter how large my team is, no matter how big the production is, no matter how small in number it is. It's the quality and the value that I bring to my love for myself and my love for humanity. Because if there's a lack inside of me, then there's going to be a lack inside of how I convey my care for what I do, for you, you know, and all of these things really contribute to being an actor. So all of these no's are just like, again, when I say like bringing more perspective into it, it's like, well, balance is something that this girl can also maybe focus on. You know, but I mean, I would have a whole longer conversation with her.
Yeah, I did too.
It's a whole longer conversation.
So it didn't even go through.
Right.
It was just whoop, and she didn't get any of it.
Yeah. But these are factors that really keep me on the money of, because I represent myself. You know, and I've had fantastic contacts, friends, acquaintances, strangers, people, places, things along the way in my journey that all really are absorbed into my being and that contribute to my work, my living day before I'm on a stage or in front of a camera. I also coach, and I tell my clients, I'm like, you know, it never ends. It never has to end, because your life is also not ending. So being an actor, there can be a very thin line to just say, well, if in my waking day right now I don't want to do this, do you not want to live? You know, every moment is an opportunity, carpe diem, you know? It really is, though. It really, truly is, because the information is so rich then when you are in performance.
Now, you brought up Fun Home. Thank you very much, because I would have forgotten about that.
Oh.
Now, you did the tour.
I did.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the sort of discipline that you need on a tour. And you do need discipline.
Oh, yeah.
Or you'll be out of a job if you don't have any. So what sort of work and preparation and what's the word I'm looking for? What do you do to keep in shape and just be together on the road and not fall to the wayside and get caught up in things that can take you really off track?
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a lot of stuff out there.
Of course.
So
yeah, well, I'm someone who knows routine, but I don't necessarily like being in routine, because routine can take you into a cyclic nature where so many things can become too stagnant, too consistent. It's like working a muscle, you know. After you have worked that group for a while, like maybe you need to change up your push-ups to incorporate some sit-ups and then go to the push-ups again, so you can shock your muscles, right? And help them grow with you. So on tour, having a keen, really strengthening my consciousness, my awareness of what I'm doing. Okay, am I waking up? Am I having a cup of coffee? Can I change that tomorrow? How do I feel when I change that? Exercising my sensories, my sensorial being, because it all contributes to the performance. It all contributes to the stage. For me, it also allows me to be different inside of myself. I'm already different. I'm already a different human being.
But that's good. It's in the field you want to be in.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It can be also the challenge at the same time when you're talking about the layers of then rejection you hear and the no's, like the girl experience. But to me, it's also the work inside to understand the difference, whether it comes from routine that then can go over to like, yeah, I am different. That's great in this
And there's
career.
nothing wrong with being different.
Not at all. It's actually what you start to understand that is the path into growing into who you are. You know, whether you're an actor or not, everyone is different, but we are all in this together, you know? So there's so many similarities. But furthermore, about tour, yeah, I mean, like I was working out backstage constantly.
You mean like physically working out?
Yeah. Acting to me, something I love about it is that there's always something to be doing, and I like to incorporate my body into that. So my body really shifts for characters that I play. And for instance, with Joan in Fun Home, I was really working on my buttocks a lot backstage. There's this part in the show where she's singing about like, Joan's butt. Like, she's in bed with her. So it's something that kind of brought me into a focus of the character that physically was aware for me. But also, yeah, you know, breaking routine, like surprising myself. How am I functioning? Like, to also just give myself life in these different cities and these constantly different people and environments and foods that I'm eating. I was always going out, trying different restaurants. I'm getting acquainted with the people in the land that I was visiting with the show and speaking with them and, you know, what are they talking about? What are they eating? What are they drinking? What is their nightlife like? Because when I was in the theater and I was performing, I breathed with the audience. I breathed with my audience. Especially, you know, as funny as it might seem, like we were playing to some 4,000 houses sometimes across the United States, and it can get very large and very wide with people all over. But just like you say, how we're so different, we are in this together. And I love the theater so much because, as I say, I breathe with my audience. It's that, especially with Fun Home, there's a moment where like everything is just like warped into one. And if you haven't walked out of the theater because maybe you've been offended of something and like maybe you need to like ask yourself, you know, get curious about yourself, like what offended you? You know, at the end of the day, you have to face yourself. But all the rest of the people or whomever was in the audience, there's a moment definitely with Fun Home where you're like, whoa, it's that aha moment. And it's a very self-reflexive moment. And my explorations and the way I went about living across the United States was how it was, because there's an intimacy from Missouri to San Francisco. There's different cultures in those places. And my character Joan and the way I performed this role really kind of allowed for that breath to be easy between, yeah, I'm on stage, yeah, there's this fourth wall, but I'm also with you on this journey. I'm with you. I see you, audience member. I see you, human being. I always met my fans outside the door, like, I was always asking people's names, and that's just who I am. It's
but what did
very
that feel
important.
like?
It felt
to have people wait to praise you for something you had just done.
Well, my work is my heart. So it really felt like, especially again because, excuse me, you go to work, I'm performing, I'm acting, and I'm giving my heart to this character, so you can fully have her. You can have her to do whatever you need to do to feel best with yourself, whether it be judge her, love her, hopefully, ultimately, you know, and that's what I found, you know, people really loved what I did, what I gave to them. I think a lot of young people, especially, the openness that it was to see such a character and the way I portrayed her on stage. And it felt like a meeting, though, because just, again, how I said, Sharon, like, that breath that I allowed to exist in my work in Fun Home, I found that out very naturally at the stage door. So when people would greet me, I'd be like, hi, how are you? I see you. You saw me. I'm glad you did, because I worked my butt off. and you're going to see me, with all due respect. But I see you, you know? Because what is the work as an actor if there's not an audience?
Right.
And I really, really, really respect my audience. I really do.
That's a good question that you just brought up in my, because I'm a singer.
Yes.
And some of the people I sing with, it's hard for them to perform in front of a half-empty room. They have issues with that. For me, you paid your little dollars to see me. So if you're the only person in the audience, you're gonna get it all. Yeah. That's how I think about it. How do you handle having to perform for a half-empty house or an unresponsive one?
If there's one person, I'm performing.
So you right here with me.
If there's one person, I'm performing.
And it should be like that. Oh, that shouldn't affect your performance.
Because I give value to every single person. I don't know in some people's minds what an actor is or what this actor right here. I honor every step of the way. I know every single step of the way of my career. I can literally track it. I could tell you about it. This can go for more than an hour.
Do you journal?
I do many things. My journaling is a creative journaling. You can see my journaling. My journaling is us having a conversation. My journaling takes many different forms.
But do you physically write?
I do.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now you brought up Tish earlier too. So let's talk about school and one, how important it is to your career versus is it necessary to go to school to pursue this craft? Do you think that's a great thing to do if you can afford it? And can you succeed without it?
You know, a great singer, friend of mine, we were just having a talk in my home in Brooklyn, and she was like telling me about her latest dream. And she just performed at Lincoln Center, and it was beautiful. And I was like, okay, yeah, just break it down, because I know you have two options. But I just like, when you see it, when you close your eyes, let me know. And so she mentions about a musical and, you know, leading role but then she goes on to, but I don't know because, like, I don't have the credits, right? Like, and she gave me that energy, and beyond the energy, which I can easily say, you know, oh, this is what you do to just get over that, and let me be the friend to give you that advice. Oh, no. But the truth is, I said to her, because at the stage in her career that she is too, especially, you know, open your eyes wide to what is before you, you know, understand the value that you have also actively created for yourself. And I said, no, you don't need to have the credits. You look at the career you're having right now. You're singing, you're working, you're constantly out there, you're giving love, you're like giving your heart. And in a second, someone you've worked with who's looking to fulfill a role in a musical that needs a really fantastic singer, like the step is just to have that conversation or have that part inside of you that's so kind of congested to say, oh, hey, no, my encouragement is there now to say, I don't need the credit. I don't necessarily need the credit that is literally stopping me from believing that I can accomplish this dream. For me, coming from athletics and then jumping right into Bloody Mary in South Pacific in high school and then going on to getting accepted into Tisch NYU, where my SAT scores were not even that great. But I knew, like the day before I went, and I picked up the phone to hear my mom say that I got into NYU, and I was like, ah. And it was because for me, I needed that training. I needed that discipline. I needed that focus. I needed that credit, right? And my parents, again, were really on board in support of this. But that was my journey. I needed to know about what it is to choose something, you know, what it is to relax, what it is to have a note constantly from my teachers about vulnerability. I needed that. A lot of people don't, though.
Well, yeah. At some point, it seems to me that natural talent will take you, it'll take you some point. But at some point, you do have to study to hone your craft, correct?
Most definitely. So there was a point where I was contemplating grad school, and I was working with fantastic people at the time, and I had this dichotomy of opinion between, oh yeah, I've gone, and oh no, you don't need it. So at that point, I kind of relate to that raw talent at the time, right? Because I was like itching for something, right? Some kind of like grounding, some kind of stability, and some advice was given to me about things that I realized I had built in my career, and it led me away from going into grad school. So the networking and the sharing of myself that was happening from working with different directors, different producers, different actors who have a collection of different trainings, kept me out of school, out of grad school. So for that, with raw talent, you know, being in acting classes, having a coach, or working, right? So if you're raw talent and you're working, how are you absorbing what's around you? Or is the ego playing?
And you should be absorbing.
Oh, yes. And that's where I think it is, though. the turning point can be when you have objective criticism or an objective viewpoint about who you are and how you're growing. Because if there's not that awareness, I think people can be led off the path and just sometimes work off of ego. And it can run them into a ground where you're losing skill, actually. You're becoming blind to like where that raw talent can also go and feather out. You know, but to stay focused is very, very, very important. And if that's not happening anymore at a certain point. But so for me, I needed that from the beginning. Like I knew it. I needed like that structure, I needed that institution. And Tish, I mean, I wanted to be in New York City. But now where my career has led me is a little more privatized in terms of like where I go to focus my energy and my attention and who I am working with and what skills am I focusing on building right now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what's up next for you?
Oh, well, I mean, in terms of work, we have Program and Sam and Joe that we are in the festival run still with. They're short films. And Ilium Pictures and Gabriel de Urioste, he directed Program. It's a sci-fi thriller, which is fantastic. Sam and Joe, you've seen. Lesbian thrillers, Raquel Seder, she's fantastic, and we're going to continue pursuing that. In terms of my own life, I'm living every moment as I'm doing so, finding my joy, sustaining my relationship, whether it be with focus on a character in terms of fitness or speaking with people who are in that field, doing my research.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there. All right, guys, we are just about out of time. I'd like to thank my guest, Karen Eilbacher, for sharing her industry knowledge with us today. Now, before I go, I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. I want you to, one, remember that you can't change the game until you first learn the game. Always surround yourself with positive people and positive things. Do what you love and love what you do. And lastly, be who you are, but be who you are tastefully. Always have a little class about yourself. Now don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And if you missed an episode of Model Behavior, now you can view the previous episodes on our YouTube channel. Just Google Model Behavior with Sharon Quinn and all of the previous episodes will come up. Thanks for watching Model Behavior, and I'll see you guys next week. Class is officially dismissed. Bye, y'all.